What's going on? What's going on? Welcome. This is the Three and Out podcast with Coach Shane. Really want to dig into this these standings from last week in the NLFA first. We have in the NLFA North coming in strong was the Arkansas Punishers. Punishers, when they played the Phantoms last week, they really showed up big time in the first. And after that, it was kind of smooth sailing. They were able to get a lot of guys some work on the tail end, a lot of the backups and things like that. But, overall, these guys, they're a tough team. They got pieces in place that can make plays all over the place. From quarterback to receivers to, even on the defensive side with their DBs and linebackers. And especially what stood out a lot to me from what I seen was their defensive and offensive lines. When you come into a game, especially on a semi-pro level, I think we all know, it starts in the trenches. That's where your games are going to be won, and that's where your games a lot of times are going to be lost. When you can really solidify that offensive line, that defensive line up front, it's going to make a major difference throughout the season, and really can turn a somewhat okay season into a great season. Just want to give them a hats off. 41 points they put up against the Phantoms in a shutout. That was pretty major. And then for the other game out of the North, they really, a lot of people were looking forward to, and really kind of went either way with the predictions last week. Really, you had the Arkansas Bolts and the Mississippi Brawlers. Mississippi Brawlers came in, everybody knows they're three-time champs in the NLFA. And they came in, and in their week one opener against the Arkansas Bolts, Bolts showed up to play. They went up and secured the win 28-12. And, look, there's not much you can say when a team comes to your house and wins 21-12. Take it back 28-12. Besides, they executed. They came in, they had a game plan, they showed it, and that's exactly what they did. They showed up and showed out. So hats off to them. In the standings right now, we got number one in the North. We'll go through the top five. You got the Arkansas Punishers, and second you have the Arkansas Bolts. Third place, the Mississippi Blues. Fourth place, the Central Mississippi Owls. And in fifth place, you have the Mid-South Fury. Also, don't want to discount the Road Warriors down there in sixth place. They also came away with a victory, 14-6. They got a tough game this week. That's a game that a lot of people are going to be looking at and really judging off the film to see what exactly they do to bring home the win if they're able to. So, moving on to the NLFA South, the one team that really showed up and handled business last week was the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals. And, you got receivers like Xavier Chapman, who, the man was making plays all over the place, over 140-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. What else can you ask for from a receiver? That's a top-tier receiver. That's what you want him to do. You want him to do it week in and week out, and that's what he's used to doing. And I look forward for him to be doing that throughout the entire season. On top of it, you had a really stout defense with Coach DK over there. Coach DK came in and really solidified his position as the defensive coordinator over there, pulling out the shutout and against a Pike County team who came in, and they do have some size. But like I said, Bayou Lacombe was able to pull out the shutout, so that was a big plus over there for them. And Coach DK, congrats on the win over there. Coach Blaine, way to go, man. Then you got the Louisiana Swamp Gators. So look, the Swamp Gators were playing the Tri-City Savages. And you got head coach D, who is his first year as a head coach. They have a first-year team, and these guys came in and for their home opener, they showed up and showed that they mean business. We can't take anything away from that. That's a W. That's what we go and play the game for. We play to win the game. And that's what they did. They showed up and showed out. They won the game 18-6, I believe. Yeah, 18-6. And really they played very well in all facets of the game. Then in the third seed in the South, you got the MSK Knights. MSK Knights, they played the Louisiana Huskies. And the Huskies traveled down to Jackson to play the Knights. Knights played very well. It was a low-scoring game. They won the game 12-0. But the thing that the Knights do well is they block, and it's like I said just a minute ago. That's what's going to win games most of the time in the trenches. You're going to win your games with offensive line, defensive line, and that's what happened. They were able to show up and win the game in the trenches for them. So. I know the Huskies had a couple touchdowns called back, for penalties. And, look, penalties hurt, especially on touchdowns. Touchdowns don't happen often in a game, so when you do make them, last thing you want to do is to have it called back because of a penalty, a self-inflicted, wound there. But, again, MSK Knights, hats off to you. You took home the W. And so from there, we have in the South, going to go down the top 5 teams. Bayou Lacombe Cardinals, number 1. Like I said, they handle business at home. They got another home game this week. Should be very entertaining against the Pensacola Panthers. Second place, Louisiana Swamp Gators. Don't let anybody tell you that they're not for real, because they just showed it. Third place, you got the Magnolia State Knights. The Knights came in from the SEFL as the reigning champ over there and started off the season very well with a victory. That's all you want. And fourth and fifth, you have the Blue Wolves and Panthers because of bye weeks. So after that, it goes on down. But that's the standings right now as it is in the NLFA. Biggest thing from that is you got week 1. It's not the end of the world if you lost, but it's a wake-up call. And the biggest thing you can do is to bounce back, make a statement, and that's, self-inflicted wounds and things like that are situations, that you'll look back on. And in the end, whenever it comes time to go into the playoffs, those are the moments that stick out the most. You're going to look back and see, man, if we would have just did this, or we wouldn't have got that penalty in that game, maybe we win. And, and then maybe we win and we're in. But, that's the game we play. As far as Mississippi Gulf Coast Raiders and Miss State Bison, that game ended in a forfeit. Both teams are behind the 8 ball, and that's 2 L's on each of their record, and got a lot to make up there. So I do want to touch base real quick on the playoff tiebreaker. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to ClickRig. ClickRig is they handle every bit of media as far as videoing, media, website, business cards, logos, anything that you can think of that you may need to brand your company or anything like that. They can get it done for you. Check them out on Facebook. ClickRig. That's CLIKRIG. ClickRig. And jumping right in here to the playoff tiebreaker. First thing, it's going to be 7 teams from the North and 7 teams from the South that make the playoffs. Now, you're going to have some ties and things, as far as the records and things like that happen. So, to clear that up, as far as the playoff tiebreaker, it's not points forced, it's not points against, it's your point differential. So, the point differential is the tiebreaker. Okay, if you finish the season, just say at the top you got two teams 8-0, 8-0. One team put up 100 points, the other one put up 150, and the team that put up 100, they only gave up 10, so that's a 90-point differential. The team that put up 150, well, they gave up 120. Well, that's only a 30-point differential. So the team that scored less points than them but had a higher differential is the team that's going to be placed above them. So that should clear up a lot, because I know a lot of people had questions about the playoffs, how many teams were going to be in, and actually how the tie-breaking was going to go, because everybody wants to get into the playoffs in the end. That's the goal. Because once you're in the playoffs, it doesn't matter if you're the top seed or the bottom seed. Anything can happen. It's like they say any given Sunday. Well, in our case, any given Saturday. As long as you get in the playoffs, you got a chance to play for that championship game in Memphis. So it becomes real necessary whenever you're in those games to think about things, like myself with the Raiders. If we're up, big or something, do we take the foot off the pedal? We've already got a nail now because, we shot ourselves in the foot. And is it worth it? Is it worth, taking that foot off the gas? So really, in the end, that's what it's going to boil down to. The point differential between the teams, and that's how, if you look at it with the Punishers, the Bolts, and so forth. Now, on the page, on the NLFA's league page, we always see guys talking about stuff, and they'll mention things and stuff like that. Playoffs have come up a lot, but the biggest thing it's always a reminder to every team is just take it one game at a time. If you take it one game at a time, then you'll end up where you want to be in the end. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't go looking forward to, further weeks and things like that. And that's just, that's a losing recipe. You know what I mean? If you're playing the game too far ahead. So, next thing, I want to give another shout out to Drinkard Sports. Drinkard Sports is a scouting agency that will take your game to the next level. If you think you have what it takes to get to the next level, I know Drinkard Sports is directly affiliated with the Alabama Beavers. Hit up Drinkard Sports and get with them. You can reach them on their Facebook page, Insta, all that stuff. It's under Drinkard Sports, and take your game to the next level. Next thing I want to talk about is we're going to start on the film. I know, so film was an issue this week for a few teams and stuff like that to get it loaded up. Again, we're in week 1. We just finished that. There's going to be little issues, stuff like that throughout the season, but week 1 is always going to have the most issues. So harping down on film getting done and in is going to be something that, there's a Tuesday 5 p.m. deadline. But going forward, it's going to get easier and easier and easier. A lot of teams are going to have that film in, by Sunday, and it'll be done because it'll be a routine thing. It's just here, it's good, cut, boom, loaded up. Whether you can read film or not, that's totally on you, your coaches and things like that. Not everybody can read film. Some of them just want to watch the game 12 times and think they find something new every time. But it is what it is. Film needs to be uploaded. Tuesday at 5 p.m. is the deadline on that. And we've seen some fines come down last week for, some actions on the field, stuff like that. Film being uploaded late is another one, And, what do we know? Week 2, do we have some fines come down for film? I don't know. Is it worth it to you to take that fine? You got to answer that, not me. So, moving on to the next thing. we're going to go ahead and dive right into some of these games for this week. And I'm just going to go down them. Got some point spreads here, and really just going to hit on them real quick. First up north, I got the Memphis Gators traveling to the Memphis Pharaohs. That game is at 3 p.m. At 5633 Tulane Road. It's in Horn Lake, Mississippi. For that game, it's one of the few, that has 0% chance of rain. Weather's looking good out there, 66 degrees, so really good playing weather. I really look for a good game between those two teams. I mean, it should be a hard-hitting game. Pharaohs looking to bounce back and really make something happen. Really, they had a tough loss last week, but I look for the Pharaohs to bounce back. And that's why in the end we ended up putting a Pharaohs by 3, -3. So that's the first game. Second game here, we have the Arkansas Tigers traveling to the Arkansas Bolts. Now the Bolts had that strong showing last week against the Brawlers, and it really stepped up. I think they opened a lot of eyes to a lot of people, and they could see exactly what they can do. And I mean, can they do it again? This is week 2. You showed everybody in week 1 what you could do, but really, can you do it again? And that's the thing. And me personally, I think they can. I think the Bolts can. I got the Bolts -6. And that game is going to be played at 4 p.m. at 1400 Crutcher Street in Little Rock, Arkansas. That is also 0% chance rain, 69 degrees. So again, great football weather. You know what I mean? Here we go to the third game. We got the Magnolia Blues traveling to the Central Mississippi Owls. Now the Owls, they backed up what they said they can do last week. The Owls handled business, but so did the Blues. And really, I think we got a tight game here. I favor the Blues -2, but really, I mean, it wouldn't shock me to see the Owls come away with that win. I expect those guys to show up and really show out and do their thing. They got some playmakers and they got some big bodies, and I really look for that to be a low-scoring, hard-hitting game. Now, that game is at 4 o'clock. Now, that's going to be in Durant, Mississippi at 33624 Hunter Boulevard in Durant, Mississippi. 0% chance of rain, 71 degrees kickoff for that game. So, up north, I don't know what it is. You guys got some great weather. I wish that y'all quit sending all this rain down here to us in the south, but, whatever. So, moving on to our fourth game, we have the Mississippi Blue Wolves traveling to the Louisiana Huskies. This game is something that's it's been built up a lot in the offseason. You've got a veteran quarterback with the Huskies and Carl Davis. You got some really good pieces with Bo and Otis. You have some great pieces. You got a good line. And it's just, can you come together and make it happen and bounce back from your week 1 performance? Like I said, you had a couple touchdowns that called back, but, I look for you guys to really step up this weekend. Tomorrow's going to be it's going to be a dogfight out there, because the Blue Wolves, they're not just going to lay down at all. I know Ty Gilmore and the crew over there, they got some good stuff going. They really do. They got some pieces. They got Smurf back there. Joe in the backfield. Young Scotty. They got some pieces that can really make some plays. They've also got a few on that line that really can stand out. I know they got Boogie over there. And I look for this to be a dogfight, really. It could go either way. I have the Huskies -2. But like I said, that game is one that can go either way. Um, look for a great football game there. I know some people have some, I guess I would say, bad judgment on predictions on how the game is going to go. But I know these two teams are hungry to just get out there and play good, hard football and have a good game. And that's what it's going to be. I don't see anything going wrong out there. Good luck to those guys out there. And that game is going to be at 4 p.m. And that is at 6201 Florida Boulevard. That's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now, this one's going to be a wet one. You got 74% chance of rain at kickoff. All right, 67 degrees, so it's not bad. It ain't going to be cold or nothing like that, but 74% chance of rain. Now, that could always change. But look to have a little mud bowl over there. Moving on to game number 5, we have the Magnolia State Knights traveling to the Tri-City Savages. Now, it's not a far travel for the Knights, so it's not really going to impact them very much as far as the travel. That kickoff is at 5 p.m., 301 San Antonio Street in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. 22% chance of rain, 76 degrees at kickoff. A little bit warmer from what the other games are going to be played at, but, right up their alley, really. Maybe just a little drizzle. I don't think it's going to rain a whole lot there, if it does at all. I do have the Knights -10 against the Tri-City Savages. The Savages went up last week and played the Gators, and I don't know if maybe it was a travel issue or something like that, but I know they got some good players. They got some guys that really one of the best players that I know of, Denarius Antoine. The man can play ball. That's all he does. That's all he knows. So he can make plays. Now, the Magnolia State Knights, they have a lot of playmakers as well. They got a really good line. And again, you're going to hear me hit on that point a lot. The offensive line, defensive line, that's where games are won, And Magnolia State Knights showed that last week that's where their strength is with their line. And they bring the pressure on defense, and, they keep away the pressure on offense. So, Rollo and that crew, man, they got some stuff going. Also look for Darrell Lovelady to show up in that game and show out. You talk about a guy that can ball. Lovelady can make it happen in all facets of the game. He's a great leader, great player. Running behind that line, I expect to see big numbers. So, I get the MSK Knights -10 against the Savages. So that's the halfway point through the games. I want to just take a break, give a shout out to the NLFA, Miss Jennifer Bell, for allowing all of us to play ball this year and have this platform to be able to do things and do what we love to do. As players and coaches, we get to, make a difference in guys, young men's lives. And to all the men and women that's in the NLFA, from me to you, I salute you and definitely appreciate it. Miss Jennifer Bell, thank you for everything you do for the league and for everyone that's involved. Moving on to game number 6. This one, it's going to be a fun one here. We got the Pike County Titans traveling to Pass Christian to play the Mississippi Gulf Coast Raiders. Now, Pike County Titans, they had a tough game last week, and they played the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals. They did some good things in that game, and really showed a lot of heart in that game. The scoreboard didn't really reflect the way the game went, in my opinion. Titans played very hard. They got some big boys in that trench. They really do. On the offense and defensive side. They can, if they get that ball rolling, they can really make something happen. And it's same thing for the Raiders. It's gonna be a bounce back week. How do you want your season to be defined? Do you want to be defined by, forfeit loss and then, you know what I'm saying, carry that over into week 2 with a bad performance? Or are you going to stand up and say, you know what, it's over with and turn this season around? That's the question. That's the question for the Raiders this week. So with that game, we have that kickoff at 6 p.m. That's going to be at 207 Fleetus Avenue in Pass Christian, Mississippi. The weather for that game is 24% chance of rain, 70 degrees at kickoff. Really, I don't. The rain kind of came through today, so I don't really expect it to rain much. It may be a drizzle, something like that. But just like the Knights game, I don't think it's going to impact the game very much. That kickoff is at 6 p.m., and I have the Mississippi Gulf Coast Raiders -3. Next up, we got the Marshall County Wild Boars traveling to the Mississippi Dogs. This game is going to kick off at 6 p.m. at 1165 Bratton Road in New Albany, Mississippi. 0% chance of rain, 67 degrees at kickoff. Once again, up north, perfect weather. Let's jump into here real quick. I mean, Mississippi Dogs, a lot of people were looking at them like, are they going to be able to step up and have a good season? Are they going to be able to do some of the things that you know they want to do this season and make the statements that they want to make, both offensively and defensively? They've got a good leadership over there with the owners, and they got some good players. They really do. The Wild Boars, the Wild Boars, they had a rough week last week. You know, the Wild Boars, they lost 6-22 against the Magnolia Blues. Was that a fluke? I don't know. Really, it just, there's so many things that can happen from week 1 to week 2. You bounce back, a couple penalties go this way, a couple penalties go that way, a turnover here or there, something like that. Really, it could go either way. I have the Mississippi Dogs at -3 for this game, though. I look for this to be a lower scoring game. But like I said, I look for some hard hitting out there. You got no rain and perfect weather. Man, 67 degrees. Yeah, that's where I want to be at. So moving on to the next one. This is the big bounce back that I think everybody is wanting to see how they do against this team. And we got the Mississippi Brawlers traveling to Camden to play. Traveling to Bearden, Arkansas to play the Camden Phantoms. Now the Phantoms played the Punishers last week in what could be looked at as one of the toughest teams, if not the top team in the league right now, as they sit at the top. So, how do they bounce back as a new organization? Some things going. They got a great owner in Mr. Ray Barnes. You know, I know they got a very young team, and the thing is, when you have a young team like that, you got to check their mental. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to bounce back, or how are they going to do? And the thing is both these teams, the Brawlers and the Pharaohs, the Brawlers and the Phantoms, they both have to bounce back this week. The Brawlers showed up, like I said last week, and everybody, was wanting to see how they were going to do. Of course, everybody's going to rag on them and stuff like that because they're 3-time champs. And they've let it be known. They did that. But they lost last week. And I think this is a great bounce back game for them. Like I said, but how do they travel? And that's going to be the key. You're looking at traveling all the way to Bearden, Arkansas. And that's, my numbers right. That's about a 4.5, 5-hour drive. So that kickoff being at 7 p.m., the field is at 635 North Plum Street in Bearden, Arkansas. 18% chance of rain, 67 degrees at kickoff. I got the Brawlers at -10 for this game. Now, like I said, I'm very, very interested in this game to see which team's going to bounce back. I can't wait to see this one and see the final and how these guys do. It's really going to show a lot about the teams and the organizations. Moving on to the next game, and what honestly for me, I have my week, my NLFA game of the week. It's the Road Warriors, North Mississippi Road Warriors, traveling to the Jackson Stampede. This is a game that these guys have wanted to play for a long time. They let it be known. They've made it known. They want it. And here it is. They're going to get it right here towards the beginning of the season, week 2. We get a great game. And like I said, it's Road Warriors traveling to the Stampede. That game is going to kick off at 7 p.m. That's at 5633 Tulane Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi. 0% chance of rain with 64 degrees at kickoff. That's a doubleheader over there. So, 2 good games out there. Gators traveling and playing the Pharaohs. Then you got, like I said, the late game, North Mississippi Road Warriors traveling to play Jackson Stampede. Personally, I got this game as a pick'em. It could go either way. I think what's going to determine this game, like I say, it's perfect football weather, is the turnovers. I think this is one of those games where you're going to look back at it and say, well, they won a turnover battle, and that was the difference in the game. You know, both of them have strong teams, strong resumes, good ownership groups. I mean, it's going to boil down to the simple fundamentals of the game and the little things that's going to make the difference more than anything in this game. So this game, it's a toss-up for me. It's a pick 'em. But I definitely, like I said, this is, if I had to stamp one for Coach's Game of the Week, this is it. North Mississippi Road Warriors going to the Jackson Stampede. And here to finish it up and wrap it up, we got the Pensacola Panthers traveling to the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals. This game is going to be at Lakeshore High School. That's at 26301 Highway 1088. And that's in Mandeville, Louisiana. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Got a 24% chance of rain, 73 degrees at kickoff. Really, for this game, Pensacola is a team that I'm familiar with from last season in the IFLX. And Pensacola's got a great, a really awesome owner in Mike. He's really got things going the right way down there. I mean, really, it's going to come down to, can they travel? And that's the big question that I have right now for the Pensacola Panthers. Can they travel? If they travel well and they bring, their guys all down here, and they play at the Cardinals, I mean, it could be a tight game, really can. I think the Cardinals want to show a lot more to not just the people, but to themselves. I think that there's a couple points where they felt like they fell flat, but there was a lot of shining points too. Like I said, Xavier Chapman, you got Pig back there in the back. He had a long catch, little dump off pass that went for a long way. And I want to shout out, man, really to the Cardinals kicker. This young man really, he's got a leg. He really does. The kid can boot the ball. Can't take nothing away from that at all. Definitely having a kicker is a big advantage, no matter how you want to look at it. And he can definitely boot the thing and get it through the uprights. Like I said, it just comes down to me for how the Pensacola Panthers travel. For me in this game, I got Bayou Lacombe at -7. I look for them to, show up and show out, and really just do the things that they're used to doing. These guys are a top tier program. They always, they're always in the I guess you could say in the news for the right reasons, you know. And look, hats off to them. You know what I'm saying? Week 1, 20-0, big win, great job, and look forward to seeing this one here this week, and then we'll see how it goes on after that. But as far as with the games this week, I'll just do a quick recap again. Gators at the Pharaohs. I got the Pharaohs at -3. Tigers at the Bolts. I got the Bolts at -6. Blues against the Owls at the Owls. I got the Blues -2. Blue Wolves at the Huskies. I got the Huskies -2. Magnolia State Knights at the Savages. I got the Knights -10. Titans at the Raiders. I got the Raiders -3. Wild Boars at the Dogs. I got the Dogs at -3. Brawlers at the Phantoms. I got the Brawlers -10. Road Warriors at the Stampede. In Coach's Game of the Week, I got to pick them. Panthers at the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals -7. That's going to do it tonight. Really looking forward to week 2 to see how everybody really pulls it back. And for some of the teams that, came out there week 1 and dropped a dud, to bounce back and show why you're here. And some of these teams that are on the top, look for you to do the opposite and stay on the roll like you are. Good luck to everybody this week. I want to say I hope everybody has safe travels. I know it's going to be some wet roads out there in some areas. Definitely safe travels. I want you guys all to know we'll be praying for you on the road there and get to your destinations. And, let's have a good, clean week of football, fellas. Good, clean week of football. Hard-hitting. Great football. Bring the fans out, the families out. Let them see some good football on that field. That's what we need to be about. Good football on that field. All right. Want to give one last shout out here before I go to the Shady Sports Network. Shady Sports Network has always supported myself and everything that we do down here with the Raiders and as far as with the Beavers as well. Definitely want to give them a huge shout out, man. Really appreciate everything along the way, and really look forward to seeing what you guys do in the future. I'm just glad that you've opened up your doors for me, and I really thank you for that. So, with that being said, Coach Shane, 3 and out. We out.